In the video game Planet of the Apes, astronaut Ulysses and his crew have been drifting in space for centuries when they crash land on an unknown planet in the year 3889. They stumble upon primitive humans living in fear. Suddenly, hunters on horseback attack. These aren't ordinary hunters, they're intelligent apes. The crew is brutally killed, but Ulysses is captured and taken to a medical center for study. While imprisoned, Ulysses meets Jonah, a human slave. Jonah sneaks him a key, helping Ulysses escape. As Ulysses explores the medical center, he overhears a conversation between two apes, Zira and Dr. Zaius. Zaius is determined to have Ulysses executed, seeing him as a threat. In a desperate bid to save himself, Ulysses fakes his death. He's taken to a morgue where Jonah and his friends are waiting. They reveal a shocking truth. Ulysses is actually on Earth, and his arrival fulfills an ancient prophecy about a savior who would restore humankind. The human rebels give Ulysses a piece of an ancient relic and tell him he needs to find 2 more pieces hidden by other human tribes. Ulysses sets off to a ruined city. There, he frees Nova, a captive human, and discovers the second relic piece guarded by the gorilla General Ursus. While in the city, he finds a secret file. It reveals that Ursus plans to misuse Dr. Cornelius' human genetics research to make the gorilla superior to other apes. With Nova and her brother Matthias' help, Ulysses heads to Ape University. They convince Dr. Cornelius to destroy his research to prevent Ursus from using it. The next mission is to rescue Jonah from an ape prison. Tragically, Jonah dies, but not before telling Ulysses that the final relic piece is in the state archives. Ulysses retrieves the final piece and returns to Nova and Matthias. The 3 relic pieces form a map leading to the forbidden place at the Statue of Liberty, which points them to the Pentagon. Here, Ulysses uncovers the history of the planet. After a devastating war, humans bred genetically advanced apes as slaves. The apes rebelled, killed most of the humans, and the survivors retreated to a subterranean Ark project. Ulysses contacts the Archonites, advanced humans still living underground. He persuades them to reunite with the surface humans to overthrow the apes. Armed with evidence, Ulysses heads to the ape palace to expose General Ursus to the council. Ursus is arrested, and Dr. Zaius, seeing the truth, releases Ulysses. The story closes with Ulysses departing with Nova, while human forces and Archonites prepare to unite against the apes. It's a story of survival, rebellion, and the quest for freedom in a world turned upside down by war and genetic experimentation. In the video game Revenge of the Apes, the game puts you in control of Taylor, the main character from the 1968 film Planet of the Apes. As Taylor, you move through several environments straight out of the movie. You start off in a dense forest, where you have to navigate through thick trees and underbrush. The forest is full of hidden dangers, and you have to be constantly on guard. Next, you come to a river. The river isn't just a pretty sight. It's filled with fast currents and dangerous creatures. You have to find a way to cross it safely, using whatever you can find around you. Maybe there's a fallen tree you can use as a bridge, or some rocks to hop across. You have to think fast and move quickly. After the river, you enter the ape village. This place is crawling with different types of apes. The chimpanzees are harmless and mostly ignore you, but the orangutans and gorillas are a different story. The orangutans will hurt you if they get too close and can imprison you in a cage if they catch you. The gorillas are even worse. They deal a lot more damage and shoot projectiles at you. They can also imprison you if they touch you. In the ape village, you have to be sneaky and smart. You need to avoid getting caught while figuring out how to escape if you do end up in a cage. Your main tool is your gun, which you use to defend yourself and escape from tight spots. The action button is crucial here. It lets you fire the gun and break free from cages and pits. Leaving the ape village, you find yourself in a vast desert. The heat is unbearable and there's very little to sustain you. You have to keep moving, dodging natural hazards and finding shelter when you can. The desert is a true test of your endurance and resourcefulness. Then, you enter a series of dark caverns. These underground passages are filled with traps and treacherous terrain. You need to watch your step and be on the lookout for anything that could harm you. The caverns are a maze, and it's easy to get lost if you're not careful. As you progress through these areas, you have to keep an eye on your life counter. Every time you take damage, your life decreases. You also have a limited number of escapes, which means you need to use them wisely. The goal is to make it to the last board, where you'll find the iconic ruined Statue of Liberty from the film. Reaching the Statue of Liberty is the climax of your journey. It's the final challenge, and you need all your skills and wits to get there. Once you complete this stage, the game restarts at a higher difficulty level. This means tougher obstacles, more aggressive apes, and fewer resources. The game is a continuous test of your abilities, pushing you to adapt and overcome. Each environment presents its own set of challenges, and you need to learn from each experience to survive. It's a relentless journey through a world where humans are no longer the dominant species, and every step you take could be your last. This game captures the essence of the film story, immersing you in Taylor's struggle for survival in a world turned upside down by the rise of the apes. From the dense forests to the barren deserts, every moment is filled with tension and danger. As Taylor, you must navigate this treacherous landscape, facing down intelligent apes and uncovering the secrets of this strange new world. Your ultimate goal is to reach the Statue of Liberty, a symbol of the world you once knew, now shattered and lost to the sands of time. In Plague Incorporated, the Simian Flu update plunges you into a world where a genetically engineered virus, the Simian Flu, has been unleashed. You control the virus, aiming to infect and mutate as it spreads across the globe. But there's a twist. The virus doesn't just affect humans. It also turns apes into intelligent beings, creating a new species capable of rivaling humanity. You start with Patient Zero, the first infected human. The virus quickly spreads from person to person, and you manage its evolution by collecting DNA points. These points are crucial. They allow you to develop new symptoms, transmission methods, and abilities. Early on, you focus on spreading the virus through different means like air, water, and direct contact. The goal is to reach every corner of the world before the authorities can mount a response. As the Simian Flu spreads, apes begin to show increased intelligence. The first sign of this is when apes start to escape from captivity. Zoos and research facilities report mysterious disappearances of their primates. The apes don't just vanish, they gather and form their own communities in the wild, far from human settlements. The game's mechanics allow you to switch between managing the virus and the growing ape population. You have to balance infecting humans while also empowering the apes. You can upgrade the apes' abilities, making them stronger, smarter, and better at evading capture. They start building their own shelters, developing rudimentary tools, and even organizing raids on human facilities to free more of their kind. Humanity eventually realizes the threat. Governments around the world begin to coordinate their response to the Simian Flu. They ramp up medical research, looking for a cure, and intensify their efforts to track down and neutralize infected humans and rogue ape groups. The World Health Organization declares a global emergency. Hospitals are overwhelmed, and quarantine zones pop up in major cities. Meanwhile, the apes are becoming more unified. Under the leadership of particularly intelligent individuals, they start to coordinate their actions on a larger scale. They communicate through sign language and simple vocalizations. In the dense forests and remote mountains, ape colonies flourish. They set traps for human hunters and launch strategic strikes on laboratories working on a cure. Your challenge as the player is to keep the virus one step ahead of the human efforts to stop it. You need to adapt constantly. When humans develop a partial cure, you can mutate the virus to resist it. When they start capturing apes, you can enhance the apes' abilities to fight back or escape more effectively. The tension escalates as the game progresses. Cities fall into chaos with riots and civil unrest. Economies crumble under the strain of the pandemic. The Simian Flu continues to evolve, with symptoms becoming more severe. Infected humans start to exhibit aggressive behavior, adding another layer of danger. The apes, now fully aware of their potential, begin to see humans not just as captors, but as competitors for dominance of the planet. In the final stages of the game, the world is a drastically changed place. Human civilization is on the brink of collapse. The Simian Flu has devastated populations worldwide. Apes have taken control of vast territories, living in complex societies. The ultimate goal is to either eradicate humanity completely or force humans and apes into a new balance of power, where apes emerge as the dominant species. Throughout the game, every decision you make influences the outcome. Do you focus on making the virus more deadly, risking early detection and a stronger human response? Or do you play the long game, making the virus harder to detect while slowly building the ape strength? Each playthrough offers different strategies and challenges, making the battle for dominance between humans and apes a gripping and intense experience. The Simian Flu update in Plague Incorporated is more than just a pandemic simulation. It's a story of survival, adaptation, and the struggle for power in a world turned upside down by genetic experimentation. You're not just a player, you're the architect of a new world order, shaping the fate of two species in a fight for the future. Planet of the Apes: Last Frontier is set about a year after the events of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. The story revolves around a group of apes who were once loyal to the rebellious Koba. After Koba's defeat, this faction breaks away and finds refuge in the Rocky Mountains. They're trying to escape the ongoing war between apes and humans. But as winter approaches, they run out of food and are forced to descend into a valley that's controlled by humans. The game flips between the perspectives of the apes and the humans. The ape tribe is led by Khan, a strong and determined chimpanzee, and his three sons, Bryn, Tola, and Juno. Tola has a brother-in-arms, a fierce gorilla named Brutus, and Khan's trusted advisor is an orangutan named Clarence. These characters form the core of the ape tribe's leadership. On the human side, we follow Jess, the widow of the former mayor. She's now leading a small community of farmers and traders. They live in a settlement built in the remnants of an old town. Jess has to hold things together in the face of the harsh realities of their post-apocalyptic world. The apes are struggling. Many died in battles against Colonel McCullough's Alpha Omega soldiers. Others fled, fearing extinction, seeking new lives far from the chaos of San Francisco and Caesar's domain. Khan, having lost his wife, led his tribe north. After months of grueling travel, Khan, along with his sons Tola, Bryn, and Juno, found a mountain that seemed like a safe haven. But as summer ends, their food supplies dwindle and starvation looms. Each day, their hunters venture farther from the safety of their mountain home in search of food. What they don't know is that in the valley below, a human settlement has survived the devastating simian flu. About 100 people live in a fortified compound that was once the bustling town of Millerton. These humans are led by Jess Ross, the new mayor. She's grappling with the daily challenges of keeping her community alive. Communication with the outside world is almost non-existent, so the townsfolk have to rely on their crops and livestock to get through the upcoming winter. As the apes descend from their mountain, they're about to encounter humans for the first time in their new territory. This meeting sets the stage for conflict and cooperation, survival and sacrifice. As a player, you take on the role of the leader, making crucial decisions that will affect the lives of both the ape and human communities. Your choices determine not just the fate of individuals, but the future of both species. Every action has consequences, shaping the path of survival for everyone involved. In Crisis on the Planet of the Apes VR, you're thrown right into the thick of the action. It's 5 years after Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and the simian flu has devastated half of the human population. This catastrophic event has led to the rise of highly intelligent apes, and you find yourself in the middle of this uprising. You play as an ape who has been captured and imprisoned in a research facility. The humans are desperate, trying to find a cure for the flu that's wiping them out, and they're using captured apes as test subjects. Your goal is clear: escape from this facility and make your way back to join Caesar's group of apes. The game starts with you in a cage, surrounded by other imprisoned apes. The environment is grim, with cold, sterile labs and heavily guarded corridors. You're not alone in your quest for freedom. Along the way, you team up with 2 other captured apes, Bone and Spear. Bone is tough and resourceful, while Spear is quick and agile. Together, you form a trio determined to break free from human captivity. The path to freedom isn't easy. The game is designed on a linear path, meaning you move from one predetermined spot to the next. But don't let that fool you into thinking it's straightforward. You have to perform ape-like movements to progress. This means climbing pipes, swinging from ceilings, and using your primal strength and agility to navigate through the facility. As you make your way through the facility, human guards are everywhere. They're armed and ready to take down any ape that tries to escape. You have to be strategic and quick. The game gives you 3 types of guns to use against the guards. You'll have shootouts where taking cover is crucial. You peek out from behind walls or barriers, take your shots, and duck back down before the guards can return fire. The gunfights are intense. You can feel the tension as bullets fly past you and you return fire, taking out guards one by one. The cover system is your best friend during these shootouts, allowing you to plan your attacks and move safely from one cover to another. The guards aren't the only obstacle, though. The facility is a maze of labs, corridors, and security checkpoints. Each area you move through is a step closer to freedom, but also more dangerous. As you progress, you get to know Bone and Spear better. Their personalities shine through in their actions and the way they help you. Bone is always the first to charge into a fight, taking down guards with brute force. Spear, on the other hand, is more about finesse, using his agility to outmaneuver enemies and find the best paths through the facility. There are moments of high tension and drama. You find yourself in situations where one wrong move could mean capture or death. The narrative is gripping, pulling you deeper into the story with each step you take. The environments are detailed and immersive, making you feel like you're really there, in the midst of a desperate bid for freedom. The climactic moments come as you get closer to the exit of the facility. The guards increase in number and the security systems become more complex. You and your companions have to use everything you've learned to overcome these final obstacles. The sense of urgency is palpable, and you can almost taste freedom just within reach. Finally, after a series of intense battles and nerve-wracking escapes, you break free from the facility. The last scene shows you and your companions running towards the forest, leaving the human facility behind. You're not just an escaped ape. You're a symbol of the struggle for freedom and the fight for a future where apes can live without fear of human oppression. Crisis on the Planet of the Apes VR isn't just a game. It's an experience that puts you in the heart of a world where the line between human and ape is blurred, and the fight for survival is brutal and relentless. The journey is intense, the stakes are high, and the taste of freedom at the end makes every struggle worth it.